Good morning.
Hello.
What a lovely day it is.
Oh man, it's just 1 minute it's pouring and then it's not and then it's pouring and
It was pretty much a guarantee that we were going to have to pay for the last couple days.
oh yes, of course.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Great. How are you?
Good. Susan and I were just lamenting the weather. Melissa, is it raining where you are?
Yes, ma'am.
I said we know we had to pay for the last couple days. We don't get unlimited wonderful weather, so.
I like your hat.
Oh, thank you. I had to commit to a hat today because it was either that or wash my hair.
You look cute.
I figure I gotta go run around outside later, so I might as well just put my hat on now.
Looks cute.
Wasn't much point in washing my hair and then going running around all day, so.
I'm a big dry shampoo fan.
I am too, but I'm at the end of that, like a couple of days of that, and then it was really going to be a wash day. This part stays clean. This part down here is not a problem.
Jay, what are your thoughts?
I don't know, Dean. What do you do with your hair?
Well, it's almost time for a haircut for me. I'm just kind of letting it see if I can get this little spot to grow back right here.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get started because we only have an hour together this morning, and then Leah's coming on at 10. And she messaged me last night and said that her camera's not working, but I said I will be fine. She's going to screen share and it'll be fun. I think that's going to be really exciting. So she's going to talk about farming a neighborhood. But let's start this morning like we always start. Jay, why don't you start? Win challenge. How are you doing on your database calls this month?
Not good. So my challenges are my database calls and actually getting refocused on part 2 of being a real estate agent is doing switching from the, hey, I've had success. Now I need to start focusing on keep pushing forward. So I'm trying to get into that mode. I woke up today and I don't want to go back to my job.
Okay.
So
well, let's do that.
I'm really thinking about moving forward. Like, I don't want to go back to work come tomorrow.
I know you can get it done by tomorrow.
Well,
I'm a pretty optimistic person, and I'll tell you can do anything you want to, but I'm struggling with that one just a little.
So that's my challenge, is that thought process and moving forward to strengthen up my database and really just get focused on doing everything I need to do that's outside of my sphere, if that makes sense.
It does. And that's why we're gonna have neighborhood farming today. That's outside your sphere.
Yeah, right. Well, yes, neighborhood farming. And I think I'd be good at that, just because how aggressive I am on certain things. But I want to step outside of my comfort zone and start focusing on the step 2 of building my business and my brand.
Awesome. I love that. What about a win? Did you have a win, or is this your win?
That's my challenge. That's my win is pretty much it's just having like I said, Friday, close with my sister. I think I'm going to close next Friday on my mother's home.
Oh my day!
I think we're going to close on that. So that's all that stuff is in the making. So I've got some wins that are coming as we move along. So I'm just going to keep banging on those and try to make those work.
Awesome. Now you said something, and I want to make sure I reiterate this for everybody. Jay says he's coming off this big success, right? So he lead generate, gets sales, does awesome. If you haven't seen the video, go watch it, right? He was the October agent of the month. So then he stops lead generating, right? So now you don't have anything in the hopper. And that's why in our time block, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to keep saying it until everybody stops telling me that this is their challenge. So this is the way to make me shut up. You apply time block in your calendar so that you always protect that time. Even when you have transactions going, you still are lead generating. Otherwise, you're going to have this, and you don't want to have payday every 3 months, right? Jay, that's going to make it hard to leave the post office if you get a paycheck every 3 months, right?
I know. And I still have 4 deals going, but they all are it's gonna happen all like one of them's gonna hit like hard, like right in January. Yeah, January and February. So it's just, I want to keep
to
going.
make sure we get a paycheck in March now.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
I need to work on my March and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. All right. Good job. All right. Who's next? Who wants to give me their win challenge and tell me how they're doing on their database calls?
Well, I'll go next.
All right. You need to introduce yourself to everybody. They haven't met you, dear.
Hi, I'm Annie Koppel, and let's see, I live in Franklin, and I'm brand new, so my challenges are going to be a little different than Jay's, but I love to hear it because, you know, hopefully in a few months I'll be where he is. So let's see, I am a social worker. That's my current job, and like Jay, I am really wanting to get out of that. I'm on high burnout with that job. But, you know, I'm going to have some time before I can, you know, untie those apron strings. But my challenge this week has just been because my social work job, we had a ton of deadlines because of COVID guidelines and stuff that we had to finish by Friday. So I'm just behind on all of my Keller Williams stuff. So this weekend is going to be catch up. You know, I have to, you know, get everything together and like, you know, set up well, I think it's already set up, but I have to get into my app and my command and get my database going. So I just have a lot of work to do.
Well, Anna, if it makes you feel any better, you're not behind because you haven't even had orientation yet. So everybody here will tell you might be a little ahead. So don't feel bad. And also, just so you know, everybody here was new once. It happens. I mean, you're in good company. And the other thing is that a lot of the folks here on the call today and a lot of people in productivity coaching do have 2 jobs. So you're going to hear, we're going to work through some of those struggles of how you balance, you know, the job and where you want to be. So, well,
awesome.
I'm excited you're with us.
Thanks.
All right. How about database calls? Did you make any?
Actual calls, you mean like, you know, I got more contacts, but I still haven't entered them in the spreadsheet. So
okay. And
so
anybody?
Not, you know, officially, but I'm just getting, you know, I'm getting information.
Okay.
So I'm still at that point. But yesterday I did go over to the Franklin office and I was able to go over with someone, you know, how to enter a listing because she was just doing that, you know,
awesome.
Suzanne. So I got a little bit of outside of my little work of, you know, of just setting up the systems and stuff. So that was neat. And that made me feel, you know, excited and hopeful.
And connected.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, Dean, tell me, did it close?
Yes.
Yay. Yay, congratulations. Everybody applaud. Dean got his first closing. Yay.
Yay, Dean.
So yeah, I was surprised. I was out. I planned for closing to be pushed back and Chad called and said, hey, can you close today? I was like, what? So a little backstory is this was supposed to go through, it started back in November 6th and I got the inspection done and that was looking good. We did a little back and forth and got a cat chewing on my toes. And then appraisal didn't happen. And there was a lot of he said, she said, and it went through earlier this week. They got the report done and yeah, it was very shocking. So
exciting, shocking. We like exciting, shocking, not the converse. So just so you guys know what happened here was that it was Keller Mortgage, and Keller Mortgage orders the appraisal right away. There is a third party involved to keep the protection between the lender and the the appraisal so that it's all up in front. And somehow everybody wouldn't take for credit for who was responsible, but somehow it just didn't happen. So Dean had to stay in constant communication and stand on people and deal with an upset listing agent that had
Yes.
that has been an agent for a really long time, right, Dean? So
She has a 4-digit MyBOR number.
4-digit MyBOR number.
So
and
mine's 39,000. So
yeah, I was gonna say in Kentucky that may not mean anything to you, but she was a 3,000 and he's a 39,000. So that's the number of agents in between the two, and that tells us how long. I don't know how that works in the GLAR, but yeah. All right. So that was your win. Now, what's your challenge moving forward?
let's see. I've been addressing my database, getting it. I got my HV and my AWs and all those put in finally.
Awesome.
I've been working overtime because of COVID, so we have that. And every time I go to a different fire station, I managed to get a couple more contacts. So and put them in my database and share my app with them. So I need to. There's a couple of attorneys that I am aware of that are or that know me that are family law. Family law does divorces, adoptions, estates, that sort of thing. Sometimes they come up on issues where they need to get rid of a house. So I'm going to start working with, talking with them and keeping them in my database and my call circle. So.
Here's the thing about B2B. So my best advice on that is when you meet with them, you say this to them. You know, I come in as a realtor, I come into contact with a lot of people, right? A whole lot of people, and they have all kinds of different needs. And I'm always trying to.
Sorry. FaceTime with my grandkids basketball.
Oh, fun.
I'll mute.
Anyway, so I find, so I run into people and they have needs. And so what I would like to know is, how do I find the perfect client for you? Right? So if you ask them, how do I find the perfect client for you? Aren't they likely going to think the same thing back to you? And one of the best ways to develop a referral relationship with another business is to refer business to them. So if that makes sense. So Dean, the next time you know somebody that needs a family law attorney, you know, you want to refer business to those attorneys and then remind them what you need in return or what you would like to have in return. So, and one other thing I wanted to mention while we're talking about referrals, we should reward the activity that we want to continue, not the success. So if somebody refers you a client and it doesn't work out, maybe somebody refers you a buyer and they have a 450 credit score, right? We still reward the referral, right? We say, thank you very much. You know, it's not a good, we can't divulge information. Maybe it's not a good time for them, but I'm going to work with them and I'm going to do my best to help, you know, take care of their needs. But I just wanted to say thank you, whether it's a $5 Starbucks card or a handwritten note or whatever you want to do for that thing. But remember, don't wait till closing and then say, hey, here's a gift because you referred me something that closed. Right? We want to reward the activity that we want to continue. So thanks, Dean, for bringing that up. So I remember to say that. So he's celebrating with grandkids now that he had a closing yesterday. I love that. All right. Who's next? Win challenge. How your database calls are going.
I can go, Carla. So I got an appraisal back. It may have come back late last night. I just found out about it this morning. It's $49,000 short, or $4,900 short.
Oh, 4,900 is a lot better than 49,000. You scared me there for a minute.
Yeah, no, 4,900. Sorry, you know, morning math is hard. $4,900 short. So my challenge is working with that listing agent. He is a challenge in and of himself. He only communicates through email. He won't speak on the phone or text. He's an interesting cat. So that's something I have to work on today is working on that. But I feel like if we can get that appraisal to go through, we should be able to close that house by the first of the year, by the end of December.
Oh, awesome.
Sometime in that weird week between Christmas and New Year's. I have another house so my success then is I have a house that should close the 21st or 22nd of December.
And how did your seller, your buyer go that was your buyer that you were taking out, that you thought you'd found the house, that you, did they find it?
So we actually found something they liked better.
Awesome.
They decided they didn't want to do the other one. They found something they really, really liked. They would have written an offer. They have a black lab. This complex has a 25-pound dog weight restriction. Fantastic. So,
can they get him certified? Can they get him certified as a
that's what a service animal.
Service
That's what his
dog.
girlfriend said. A therapy dog. He's like, oh, I don't feel right being dishonest like that. So I'm like, all right, dude. And he's a friend of mine. He's one of my preferred lenders. So we are still looking. He's backed off right now. But we're still looking, and I'll find him something. And then I have another guy that's looking who says, oh, I want to wait, but he still pops up about once a week and wants me to show him something. So we're still moving around. So win challenge, and what was, database.
she killed
I'm
it.
working on Christmas cards right now.
But tell them how you did on your 70.
Oh, you all, that was such a stupid number. I don't know why I ever said that. It was really hard, but I did it.
But you did it.
I did it.
Did
I
it.
did it.
So you get that? She called 70 people in the last week and told them and had the conversation that we were talking about last week about wishing them a happy holidays and a little forward and see how they were doing. And what came of that, Shelley?
Well, lots of goodwill, and these are all people that I know because I do a lot of networking in Louisville. And Dean, I want to talk to you about your family lawyer person. But I do a lot of networking. So lots of goodwill, lots of catching up. I had a friend who is she's a gym instructor. She owns a mobile portable gym. And she said, oh my God, I was in spin class with my friend and she wants to sell her house. And I just said, oh, okay. And I kept spinning. And she goes, I'm going to call her back. So I followed up with her. Her friend already had a realtor, but that's how it goes. People just don't think sometimes of you. And so you have to help them remember, and don't be a secret agent.
Oh, I love that. No secret.
Yeah, I stole that from Denise Wisdom here in Louisville. And Annie, we're glad you're with us.
Love that. All right, Shelley, my everybody, my advice on the appraisal is before, take a look at it, right? Yeah. Dig into it a little bit. And with $4,900, make sure their adjustments all make sense. Like, remember when you had class and how you adjust the comps to the subject, make sure they didn't go the wrong way. Because some of these appraisers, you have a lot more experience than some of these appraisers that are doing residential appraisals. So sometimes you'll find an error, but here's the reason why I say that. Maybe you won't find an error, but when you message the listing agent and you say, hey, here's the appraisal, it came back low. My buyer would really like to purchase, however, they don't have cash to bring to closing. So what we, I'm sure you don't want to start the process all over. So hopefully we can work this out. I just wanted to let you know that I went through the appraisal and I couldn't find anything. I looked for a specific, that way you let him know that you're not just accepting it as it is, that you actually took the time to go in and look at it. Sometimes you find errors too. I had one that was 40,000 short, and it turned out that there was a double lot and he didn't count the second lot. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. So you just have to pay attention sometimes.
I would have fainted if it was $49,000 short. This house is a custom house, and it was, I could find virtually no comps because it was just so fantastical and like plunked down in the middle of this like shabby chic kind of neighborhood. Doesn't match anything. So tried my best to find some comps, but it really was very difficult.
Well, you don't have to find comps now because the appraiser picked the comps. You just want to make sure that the adjustments all make sense. That's about the only thing, and that the square footage is right, and that they got all the facts right.
Yeah.
And if they have, but what my point is that if you let the listing agent know when you're asking the seller to come off $5,000, and you let the listing agent know, hey, I already combed through the appraisal and I couldn't find anything, then that makes the listing agent more amenable to taking what you need to
Great.
think. So it's part of that win-win
Great.
thing.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Who's next? Armand.
Well, I've kind of had a tough week. I have not been real motivated this week. I did get 25 contacts, but getting them, contacts that I can get in my database are probably about a half of that. I continue to make my calls, but I don't know. My focus isn't there or something like that. I've just had an off week. I don't know why. But my win is I did get 5 appointments this week. So.
Would you guys all like to have an off week that resulted in 5 appointments?
Yes.
I don't think you're going to get a lot of sympathy from the group, Armand.
They're for sale by owners. So, and I went through that with Carla the other day. I need to go through that a bunch more times though, because I'm not quite sure that I have it down, all the questions that I need to ask.
Who else here is calling for sale by owners? Robert, you're calling for sale by owners, aren't you? Oh, maybe Robert.
Yes,
Jay, are you calling for sale by owners?
Yeah.
Can Jay and Robert and Armand and whoever else is calling for sale by owners get together, find the time and ask those questions of each other, get comfortable with them? I mean, the way you're going to get better with for sale by owners at converting them is practice. You got to practice. Vicky Massey says me too. So before we get done today, why don't those of you that want to do a for sale by owner get together? You guys can do a Zoom for free for 40 minutes, right? You don't have to have me. You can just, one of you take charge. Who's going to take charge? Somebody volunteer. One of the first time home buyer people, who's going to take charge and make this happen? Jay is smiling big and waving. All right, Jay, Armand, Robert, Vicky, they are your peeps. Will that help, Armand?
Yeah, except for I got an appointment at 1 o'clock. So.
Oh, it didn't have to be today. You guys just have to find a time that works in all your schedules, right?
All right.
Maybe even if you just got together once a week for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anybody that wants to do for sale by owner script practice with Jay and Armand and Robert and Vicky, message Jay.
Yes, message me your phone numbers and information so we can set this up.
And and Kim says she's in too. And here's the thing, you don't even have to Zoom because when you make the calls, you're going to be on phone, right? So you can actually just call, you could just do a group call. You guys can figure it out. I know you're resourceful.
Jay, what's your telephone number or email?
317-345-2726.
Jay, put that in the chat too, so everybody can pull it down. All right. Who's next? James. Tell me about your win, your challenge, and your database calls.
My win for the week, I had a cousin contact me and express to me that she wants to buy a house soon with her husband, and they're going to use me as a realtor, but they just need to get some credit things worked out and probably save a little more money.
So how did she know you were a realtor?
I blasted it on Facebook and contact them.
Awesome. Just wanted everybody to hear that. Go ahead.
And my challenge for the week is just making more appointments. I've tried to set up appointments, but just getting them set, in stone. As far as my database, I haven't really added too many people to it yet. So that's probably another challenge of mine.
Well, as far as your challenges go, remember this on making appointments, okay? All you have to do is ask for the appointment and it counts. So if you have to make 500 contacts in a year, remember you only need 30 appointments, right? So there's there's a gap there, so you don't have to feel like every call is supposed to result into an appointment. Just throw
It's
that out
just
there.
getting it, getting it set.
I know, it's frustrating. We want one. What'll happen is all of a sudden you'll end up with 3 or 4 appointments in 1 week because the train is slow to get started, but once the train starts moving, it's hard to stop. All right. Okay, Vicky.
Hold on, I'm coming. I was in there making coffee. So today, what do I have going on? I have an appointment today with a potential buyer. I've added to the database. Regions Mortgage, there's a guy who reached out to me. He was trying to sell me some stuff, and so we contacted each other that way. And then there's an insurance company guy, so I've made some contacts there. As far as challenges are concerned, I'm my own challenge. I am my own challenge. So yeah, as far as challenges are concerned, it's just me.
Well, you're coming up on some good time for in your calendar, right?
I am.
Do you have a plan in place for what to do with that time in your calendar?
I did actually get that webinar set up for buyers, so they're a home buyer's guide. So that's set up in Eventbrite. So outside of that, like again, I'm still doing the challenge.
Well, it sounds like you're doing an awesome job, and I love that you've got a lot of things off of your list that we talked about before done. So I think you should pat yourself on the back, give a little self-care, and not beat yourself up so much.
I'm working on it.
You guys are being rough on yourselves. Armand's got 5 appointments and he had a bad week. You scheduled a webinar and had some business to business calls. You're doing awesome. Awesome. All right. Who's the next person? Kim.
Well, let's see here. Did pretty good on my conversations this week. My phone calls didn't make the 50, but I did get 36. So that was at least I felt some type of accomplishment, and it actually allowed me to be in touch with some folks I hadn't talked to in a long time. So that was good, and catching up and that kind of thing. I also had, like I said, I've been having a lot more real estate conversations I try to keep them in daily just to make sure whoever I interact with. In fact, this week, got sideswiped by, on my way to work the other morning.
And you turned that into a conversation.
Yes, I absolutely did.
You are a rock star.
Because we had to pull over. Of course, the lady was just moving over to the lane. She didn't see me. And thank God she did at the last minute, because it literally was like a swipe. She just kind of skidded the side of my car, but enough to pull us over and have a chat while we waited on an officer. And so it turns out, like I said, she was really upset. I calmed her down, no need, that type of thing. But by the time it was over, we were exchanging information, and she asked what I did and where I worked and kind of thing. And I told her what I did, and I handed her my card. I said, in fact, here's my card with my information, because right away she said, it's my fault. I don't want your insurance information. I will give you all of mine. I got you taken care of, whatever you need. And so when I gave her my card and told her I was a realtor, turns out that she said she and her husband are going to be actually selling their house and looking to buy a home, because he just retired and she's getting ready to. They're both nurses. So she said, and I don't have a realtor, so I'm going to call you. So
you are connected. I love that. So, way to make lemonade out of lemons.
Absolutely.
Now, you guys, this is not a good lead generation strategy. Don't go run around getting car accidents. Exchange information. Don't not encouraging that.
Yeah. So that was like I said, turning a negative into a positive, but just going with the flow and just like using every opportunity for me. And I just thought that was awesome. I thought, wow. I said, I just actually got a contact. And we turned that in. And she said, I don't even have a realtor, so I'll call you. And that's so awesome.
I love that. Do you guys know, do you guys ever practice an elevator speech? Do you know what your elevator speech is?
No.
So it's something that you would tell somebody what it is that you do for a living that would engage them in the amount of time that from one floor to another in an elevator.
Okay.
So it's quick, I'm a
Or-
matchmaker. I help people find their perfect homes. That's an elevator pitch, right?
About, it's about 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
And it's a introduction of yourself that you want to get out before the person shuts you off mentally.
Well, or the doors shut you off, right? And they step off the elevator, but it has to be captivating. So it can't just be, my name's Carlin, I'm a realtor, right? That doesn't leave a question in their mind. But if I say, my name's Carlin, I specialize in matchmaking, I help people find their perfect homes. That engages their brain, right? Now they've got to solve the problem. It may not, I didn't make it a hard problem to solve. Another thing that I've always done, my brand is Carla Has the Key. And so whenever it, like standing at a cash register or whatever, and they want me to sign up for rewards and they ask me my email and I give them my email, I always say, it's Carla Has the Key. I bet you can't do it. Guess what I do for a living? Right.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, are you a locksmith? And I'm like, that's never happened to me before. No. But, just think of something that you can say that helps people ask you a question, right? Or has their brain asking a question or solving a problem. That's your elevator speech. So, that supplements getting into a car accident, but great job, Kim. I love that. That is some huge win to celebrate.
Yeah.
All right, Robert.
Okay. I would say my challenge was that I didn't get no appointments this week, so that's kind of a.
How many times did you ask for one?
Probably only about 3 or 4 times this week.
So what's the best way to get an appointment next week?
I asked for more appointments.
Okay. Yes. Good job. What about your win?
The win was getting an inspection to go through on for my buyer. So we passed the inspection part because I think that's one of the most difficult parts. So now we're moving on to the appraisal.
Did you get a roof?
Yeah, we got a roof.
Wow. Good job. Good job. Good job. You guys are having just tons of wins this week. I'm loving this. This is great. How about making your database calls, Robert? How you doing with that?
I really didn't make a lot of database calls, but yeah, my database though, it is going up. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, wow, it almost doubled in like a week. So I'm like, it's not as many as everybody else, but it's going up really quick.
Fabulous. All right, I got 2 Melissas. Which one wants to go first?
I'll go. You already know my win.
I know, but everybody else doesn't.
That I'm doing core on Monday to get my license back out going. This is gonna sound really stupid, so y'all don't make fun of me, but I'm kind of anxious about getting on the thing because it's not Zoom. It's like going to some kind of training and they say you have to have a webcam and a microphone. I already have that, right? Because of me doing this with you guys. I mean, so it's not rocket science.
You have a fabulous microphone and a fabulous audio piece because we can hear you just fine. So it won't be a problem at all.
Oh, okay. So that's my win, is that I'm excited to do core on Monday. And then challenge, I guess, is like I talked about on our individual thing Thursday, just kind of, I want to get on here and kind of, and I know it takes hard work and stuff, but be like Shelly, and be like, oh, I'm doing this appraisal and I'm showing this. I want to, and I know it takes time and hard work, but that's my talent. Yeah. Yeah. Shelly's like I want to be like, I want to get on here, I guess I'm ready to get going. Like I talk about all the time that, I don't know the basics yet. And I've, like Anna, I think her name was, I'm still kind of, I did this 13 years ago, but I'm new again, getting back into it. So you don't know what you don't know, and I'm not out there yet. So I'm just kind of doing all the studying, but nothing in real life. And so that has me in my head, just because I'm like, okay, I want to get out there and do something. So I feel like it takes the unknown out of it.
Well, success leaves clues. So if you listen to everyone's wins and their challenges and their databases, their database calls, their appointments, it's going to tell you exactly what you have to do to be just like Shelly. Be like Shelly, you have to make 70 calls. You have to jump out there. You have to say, I'm going to make 70 calls. And then you have to push yourself to do it, or 30 calls or 50 calls or whatever it is that fits in your, but you have to. Shelly, was that a stretch?
And unmute for a second. Yeah. So Melissa, I do so much networking. I have a great network in Louisville. So that's why I said 70, but it was really hard because I get on the phone and people want to talk to me. So it's not like a 2-minute on and off call or 5-minute on and off call. People want to talk to me for a long time. So it was a lot of work. And if there's anything you need, and Chelsea will tell you this, if there's anything you need, definitely just let me know. I'm very happy to help you.
Well, it's like I just at some point want to get to the ride-alongs almost, like where I kind of shadow people and just am like out there in the business, like seeing what people do.
You got step 1 on Monday, and then, before long, you'll be looking back and you'll be having the same conversation that everybody else is having, right, guys? You guys all started brand new, well, except for Ann, she can't nod, but you guys all started brand new, right? Felt the same way she feels, and then it kicked in, right? And then it kicks in again, Jay, right? Then it kicks in and like big time overdrive. Then we just have to keep the train moving. That's the way that works. All right.
And on the database, the last thing, I saw your email, and I'm doing, like I think Vicky said, I'm just having the conversations right now. So
yeah, just make sure you're putting them in your spreadsheet so you can get them uploaded. So you have, and you'll see why here in a little bit. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, some more. Okay, Melissa.
Hey there, everybody. Doing good over here in the north side of Indianapolis and Kokomo area. Got a listing appointment this week. So working on that. They're getting their home inspected on Monday. They do want to wait till after Christmas to list it. So I'm trying to encourage them to do it sooner. And so with this particular seller, they're also buying. And so when I found out they were buying, I had a seller, and they're buying in the same area that I have another seller in. So I called that seller and said, hey, what if I had a buyer for you? Well, it turns out they knew each other. And so I'm excited that they got together and they worked out this little proposition between the two of them, but I might have worked myself out of some business, but that's yet to be seen.
They still need you.
Yeah.
They can't do it without you.
That's what I keep telling myself. So I'm working on that. So what's going to happen is this seller that I went on the listing appointment with this week got together with the other person I'm working with as a seller. And so they're going to move into their home because they're going to buy their home. So they're going to move in their home to make their home empty to get it listed the day after Christmas. And then once their home sells, they're going to make the purchase on the home they've moved into. So,
yeah, you're just going to have to help them with the paperwork. I mean, maybe it's not going to be as good there, but you'll be fine. All right. How about your database calls, lady?
Doing my database calls, and I'm not very good at tracking them. So I got to get better at tracking them and writing them down and getting them in my command. So that's what I've kind of been doing this week, is catching up with getting the new leads or people that I've contacted, getting them into my database. So I've kind of been behind on that. So yeah, just working on that. I'm working on a buyer that came and looked at a house that I had listed that didn't have an agent. So I'm working on them getting pre-approved. So
awesome. You guys are just knocking it out. All right, Susan dear, how are you? Can you go have good, okay reception?
Yeah, not too bad.
Awesome.
Just still the same struggles of dual career that I know everybody's having. I am so ready for Christmas break though. School has just been crazy lately. But I did mail 75 Christmas cards this week with realtor. Well, some of them were to neighborhoods and it was just Christmas cards. But then I mailed a bunch to family, and like we did this little thing where we like what were the top 5 things of the year. And one of the top 5 was that I became a realtor. So just trying to remind all my family. And so, and then the Facebook, and I've been doing one Facebook live video a week, and they're getting lots of attention, but haven't led to anything yet. So, but you know, I definitely have a better attitude and a better, like, I feel good, like, you know, just keep doing what I can. And one of these days, it's going to all work out.
It will. It's that moving the train down the pike, just a little bit. All right. Oh, did we lose Siobhan? She was who was next, and I think she's gone. All right. Well, before Leah comes on, we got 20 minutes, and I want to tell you about the 12 days of Christmas. Did you know today was December 12th? So we're going to start the 12 days of Christmas today. And what we're going to do for the 12 days of Christmas is something that you guys have all been talking about, and we just need to make it purposeful. Remember when we talked about the 6 personal perspectives and we talked moving from E to P, being purposeful. We have to be purposeful in the things that we do. And it's December, which means that we have what? January, which is brand new, right? So we get to start over. We can always start over whenever we want, but so I'm going to show you this. This is from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. But it is just a fact of our business. And this is what we have to be aware of. So we're making these database calls right now, but we have to know. So remember this, your database, the people in your database, if you consistently communicate with your database, it will return to you 6 to 1 or 12 to 1. So for every 12 people in your database next year, you should get 1 deal out of it. So take the number of people in your database right now and divide it by 12. And that should tell you how many deals, how many transactions, how many closings, how many paychecks you should be able to count on from your database. Okay. But the key to that is having consistent and purposeful communication, right? We have to do it with frequency, right? It's about quality and quantity. We have to balance the two, right? But quantity keeps you top of mind, but it's the quality, right, that is going to continually remind them. Because remember, when they need a real estate agent, Shelly, she's in a friend is in cycling class, right? And her friend says she needs to buy a house. Well, she didn't think to tell her, oh, I have a friend, right? If Shelly would have communicated with her that week, she might have thought, right? So it's a numbers game, right? It's just like anything. It's a numbers game. So we have to do it, and we have to do it with consistency. It's not good enough. Shelly, you had told her at some point in time you were a realtor.
Yeah, we're good friends. She's known for 2 years I was a realtor.
But she just didn't think of it in the moment. So we have to have consistent, right? Now we obviously have to have permission. And that's, a 2-way. And if we have somebody that's in our database that we don't have permission to have communication with, then we just need to get communication, right? We give them a call and we say, I haven't talked to you in a really long time. And when we get to the end of the call, you say, I'd like to keep in touch. Is that okay? That's permission, right? Then we don't have any problems there. And then we need to make sure we're giving value. So that's what we're going to work on for the 12 days of Christmas. So those of you that have done database coaching with me, you know that I recommend that you segment your database a little bit. And I found a really fun, let me find it. So there is this book called, The 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer. And he has this communication plan, and he has his A+, which are his ambassadors, his champions, his B's are potential champions, his C's are his friends and family, and his deletes are deletes. And you guys know that I don't really believe in delete. I call them drips. They might not get my best. They're not going to get my quarterly calls maybe, but they're going to still get constant communications because who knows, they might convert, right? So this is going to be out in your PC library and you can look at it. But this is just an idea of a marketing plan based on splitting your database into its components. Now, if you only have, somebody's got some noise, whoever that is, could you maybe hit There you go. Thank you, Shelley. So if you have 100 or less people in your database right now, you don't necessarily need to grade it. You know, you don't need to make them A, B, C, and D's just yet, but you might want to go ahead and do it just so that you have it. Now, you guys heard Dean talk a little bit earlier. He's doing the never ending referral version where we call, because we need to do a quarterly call for the people in our database. And he's got that broken down by the never ending referral 2-letter. So you got your A and W's, your B and E's, your C and K's. And so every week you're calling the same number of people. So that's another way to do it. And that's also in your PC library. So, all right, so we have the communication plan. So here's the millionaire real estate agent. And I tell you, if you follow it, it works. This is what is going to get you your 12-to-1 ratio of the people in your database. So we're over here in the 36 to convert, right? Because we've already connected with them. These are the people in our database that we're already connected with. So we go over here to the far right where we have the 36 to convert. And we know we have to have 4 phone calls with them every year. So that's our quarterly call plan. And there's a smart plan for that called the quarterly quarterly call plan, or you can do the never ending referral call by letters. And if you have any questions about that, we can talk about that. So then you need to do something 26 touches bi-weekly. Okay. Now I recommend that one of those 26 or half of those 26 touches be your neighborhood nurture. You have their address, you put them on the neighborhood nurture. That takes care of it for you. You got that one. So we still need to contact everybody once a month about something. And then 2 times a year, we need to do something just a little bit special. And it recommends events, get-togethers, parties. You could do a Zoom. I saw the cutest thing. Somebody was doing a house decorating contest and everybody's going to get on a Zoom and show their Christmas decorations. And then they're going to get whoever wins, they're going to vote, and whoever wins gets a prize. So it doesn't have to be an expensive event or a difficult event. It could just be something simple. Some people, sometimes in your office, maybe they, in our office, we have trunk or treat in October. We have shred it in the spring. You can just invite your clients to those events, to the market center events. So it doesn't have to be a big deal. And then we have 4 touches that are something special, something of value. And it might be something that costs. You could do a calendar or magnets, or it could be market reports. Maybe 4 times a year you do a market report. Maybe you even do a video of your market report and you send it out to everyone. So what we're going to do for the 12 days of Christmas is we are going to plan our 2021 marketing plan. We're going to create our 2021 marketing plan for our touches and our 12, our 13 here, our 2 and our 4, right? So we're going to plan those out. So that is what we're going to do. So today is the first day. And so what is the first month? It's January. So we're going to talk about January today. And then you guys are going to get emails from me all week, all 12 days, almost 2 weeks. At like tomorrow, you're going to get February. And so what you want to do is you want to create a sheet for yourself that says January, and then write down all the ideas of what you want to do for January. And then in between Christmas and New Year's, we're going to create smart plans in our command to execute these marketing, to make it so we set it and forget it, right? It's going to do all the heavy lifting for us. It's going to remind us when we need to make calls. It's going to remind us when we need to actually mail something or do something, right? Otherwise, it's all going to be set up for us. It's going to send text messages and emails, and it's going to take care of it for us. So how do you guys feel about that? Do you like the idea of having it all together and done for the year?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you guys start telling me some ideas that you have about January. We're going to mastermind this today. And then I'm going to create a Google Drive so you guys can all mastermind February, March, April too. So I'm going to throw out what I'm thinking about, and then I want you guys to throw out anything that you think about in those months. Do you want me to start with January and give you my ideas? So we have New Year's Day. Okay. New Year's Day. That's a really awesome opportunity to have a conversation with people about New Year's Day. And just like December, I'm trying to pull it up. Just like December, I think that January is a really awesome opportunity to really kick off the year. So I recommend this January call. This again comes from Michael Mayer with that book is The 7 Levels of Communication. But you can just reach out to everybody and ask them, did they make a New Year's resolution? Do they have any big plans or goals? Probably not for 2019, maybe for 2021. Hopefully they're not planning 19. They might be, but I don't think they want to do a do-over for 2020. So maybe not. Do they have any trips or vacations? Do they have a bucket list item? What most excites them about 2021? What's their biggest challenge? And then this is the one that I always talk about, you know, who's your typical client or key contact? Who are you hoping to meet this year? You know, I love this question. He always asks this question in January of his people. Who would you really like to meet this year? If you could meet anybody, who would that be? Then if I ever have the opportunity in the course of the year to connect, I'm a connector, right? So if I have the opportunity during the course of the year to connect somebody with somebody, you know, that's a big win for me. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Like if they tell me they want to meet Peyton Manning, it may not happen, although it may. You know, my daughter is, you know, somebody at Peyton Manning's hospital that, you know, grew up, you know, going to the hospital all the time. So maybe there would be a chance. Who knows, right? I wouldn't know. But if I asked the question, then I would know who that needed to be, right? So throw out some January ideas. We got 9 minutes to brainstorm.
Well, I already have my second webinar. It's on the 2nd, literally. That's the reason I chose it is because it was at the beginning of, and it's a Saturday, so it's the first Saturday of the new year.
Awesome. So every potential buyer, first time, is it just first time home buyers or it's general? It's buyers.
Home buyer. Yep. I opened it up so that it wouldn't just sound like it only belonged to one person. Or, you know.
Yeah. So that's awesome. You've got, that's, so everybody in your database should be invited to that. Awesome. All right. Anybody else got something else they thinking about?
It's not necessarily for January, because I have I'm working on like the, and I guess I could change it to that, but it's my favorite things. So on Christmas, I'm probably going to go out and put this, you know, on that day. These are my Christmas favorite things that relate to real estate. And so that's going on the 25th, but I mean, like, it's not January. Maybe it'll lead into some stuff for January, but.
Well, I love that. You can also create a theme for every month, right? Or you could create a theme for the year. Let's say, for instance, you wanted your theme for the year to be favorite things. And so you would have favorite thing Friday. Is that something? Favorite thing Friday. And every Friday you have everybody tell you what's your favorite thing about January, or, you know, the first Friday of every month, you know, we're going to go, what's your favorite thing about January? And then the first Friday of February, you know, what's your favorite thing about February? I mean, that would be a something. Gratitude would be another one. If you could figure out how to work a gratitude challenge in, you know, like if you had a gratitude challenge, and you think of all the platforms you could put this on, right? So you could have an email, you could have a text message, you know, you could have a Facebook, you could have an Instagram, you could, if you tweet, you could tweet, you know, you could take your one thing and spread it out over all the platforms. So now not only are you making a purposeful touch to your database, but you're also touching a whole lot of potentially other people, right? If you put it on social media and it's really clever, it might catch on, right? People might share it and you might find new people that could be in your database. How about pharmacists? Do any of you guys have pharmacists that you know? Do you know that January 12th is National Pharmacist Day? Do you think pharmacists need homes? Do you think they have to have some place to live? Do you think that they come in contact with people every day who might need some place to live? Yeah. So what if you took January 12th as National Pharmacist Day? What if you took the day and wrote out 20 thank you cards and drove around to 20 CVS and Walgreens and gave the pharmacist a card for Happy Pharmacist Day? They're going to be, you know what the pharmacists are going to have to be dealing with, right? I mean, aren't they going to be kind of important this year?
Yes, and that's a good idea.
Do you think very many people, other than those of us here that have somebody crazy like me, knows that January 12th is National Pharmacist Day?
Probably not.
Hallmark doesn't even tell you that, do they? So this is kind of what I'm thinking about, the 12 days of Christmas. So this is my 12 days of Christmas to you, is I'm going to come up with ideas like this for every day. By the way, January 4th is also National Trivia Day. So you could send out, hey, it's National Trivia Day, and then ask a silly question, like, and then, then give them the answer, right? The next day, maybe you give them the date that on the 5th, you give them the answer, and see what kind of people come around.
And you may do all this through like our social media, or just through emails through the group, or just everybody in our sphere?
I am recommending that we do a smart plan and send it out to everyone in our database, right? And then I'm also recommending that if it's something like that, we could also put it on our social media and get double bang for our buck, right? Because between the Christmas and New Year's, we're going to prepare the smart plans for whatever you guys like, right? And I'm going to prepare them. I'm going to put them in the team, and you guys are going to have access to them. So we're going to have smart plans, and then you guys can pick which ones you want to set everybody on. Now we're going to do a January smart plan, a February smart plan, a March smart plan, because if you get a new person in your database in February, you don't want them to get the January emails, right? You only want them to get the February emails. So, yeah, so we're going to do that way. Let's see. Also, January 18th is National Thesaurus Day.
Also my birthday. It's a very important day, January 18th.
January 18th. All right. You can tell your database that it's Famous Shelley's birthday and ask, do they know Famous Shelley? The 19th of January is National Popcorn Day. So you guys talk about pop buys, and Leah's going to talk to us when she hops on here in a little bit about neighborhood. Maybe this could be a great kickoff for your neighborhood farming, right? Go to Costco and get packages of popcorn, microwave popcorn, right? And put Happy National Popcorn Day. Just wanted to pop by and say hello. I'm your neighborhood realtor.
That's so clever.
I just have to say that was really a good one, Carla. We're gonna all steal that, like, right?
Yeah.
It's not stealing. I'm giving it to you. This is my present to you for the 12 days of Christmas.
So immediately I went back to something that I made this week for a client of mine, and it was salted caramel, Crown Royal caramel flavored popcorn. And I was like, that would be great, but then I'd have the whole neighborhood drunk.
Wow, we want to come to Vicky's house for Christmas, don't we? All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, so I'm a little bit late.
Recipe for that.
Oh, Vicky, Susan wants the recipe for that. Go ahead, Ann.
I'm a little bit late for Christmas cards, because I'm just doing my database right now. So what do you guys think about like aren't you glad it's a new year 2021 kind of card instead of a Christmas card? I thought that might be a good idea, and then just say, hey, this is what's new in my year, kind of thing.
I love that. A lot of people do this. They don't do Christmas cards. They either do Thanksgiving cards or New Year's cards, because everybody gets Christmas cards, right? So if you set yourself apart by one or the other, and then some people don't do Christmas cards because it's not everybody, or Christmas isn't for everyone, kind of thing. So, all right, Jan, I'm gonna give you a few more before Leah gets on. All right, so see, I gave you Trivia Day, Pharmacist Day. Obviously, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday is the 21st. Thesaurus Day is the 18th. 19th is National Popcorn Day. January 23rd is National Pie Day, Vicky. That might be important to know. How about this one? January 24th is Compliment Day. So compliments. And then this one's, I love this one. Absolutely love this one. January 27th is National Chocolate Cake Day.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. That's my husband's birthday, so he's going to get chocolate cake so I can have some.
There you go. All right, Leah is here. Hello, dear.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. All right, this is the crew. So just so you know, you have got folks from Louisville, you've got folks from the Northeast office, and you have folks from the South office, and we don't have any West office people today. So those are your three offices. So the Louisville people probably aren't going to know the Indianapolis neighborhoods. It's really the reason why I brought that out. So, or if I ask you about a neighborhood that you don't recognize, that's probably going to be why.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I am computer illiterate on my computer, and I don't know how to get the video to work. So I do apologize.
Have anything you want to share? Down at the bottom, I've turned it over to you, so you could share if you wanted to. Down at the bottom there, you should see a screen share with a little green arrow, and you could share anything you want that way.
Yay. So I can just share my screen?
You can.
That's awesome. So I'm going to do screen share. And I think it will work. Can you guys see my screen?
We see your Zoom launch.
Yes, we got your screen. It's your Zoom launch.
Yay. Cool. Okay. So basically, I was going to talk about neighborhood farming. I've had some success with that. And if you guys want to ask questions, I can't see everybody because I can only see Carla, a couple other people, but
Leah, if you go up into the upper right-hand corner of your computer where it says view, you can change the gallery view so you can see side-by-side gallery. You could probably see most everybody, and then you can arrow down to get to everyone because we have a big group today. And everybody's very excited about neighborhoods, but you need to tell them who you are because they don't know you and they need to meet you, even though they can't see you.
So my name is Leah Mencke. I'm with Keller Williams. This is my website. There you go, right here. That's me. And I work at the Keller Williams Indy Metro South office. I'm an independent agent. I trained when I started out on some teams, and I kind of got my feet wet that way. Learned the ropes from like team leaders that knew what they were doing, and I was able to learn quickly from them and branch off onto my own. So now I'm on my own, and I am pretty excited. But I started. I know when you work for a team, you get fed, so you get leads, right? And that's great. But if you think about it, if you work for a team, you will always work for a team, unless you can learn to generate your own leads and be self-sufficient. So that's why I started learning about neighborhood farming, because I was like, I wanted to have my own source of income and be able to support my family, my own, regardless of a team leader supporting me with leads that they were getting in from listings or their own sphere or something. I don't think I'm doing this screen sharing thing right, but
what do you want to share, dear? All we're seeing is your website.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so basically when you do a neighborhood farm, there's a couple principles that you need to do first. And one of them is that they recommend, the research that I did recommended that you start in an area that you live in or very close to. On my board, you can find those farms by going to high turnover neighborhoods. So obviously, like in my ward, I don't know how this works for Louisville people, but you can go to your subdivision. And for example, I live in Summerfield. So I live in Summerfield Village, okay? So you can select the subdivision, and then you go over here and you can go to solds. And I go back 2 years. So about, I'm just gonna estimate it. And in the last 2 years, my neighborhood has had 35 solds. And the thing is, there's only 340 homes in my neighborhood. So this is a 10% this is a 10% turnover neighborhood. So this is a good neighborhood to farm, which I actually have a farm here. But you can go through and you can find out how many homes are in a neighborhood by selecting the map button in MyBor. And obviously you can add a layer to MyBor and you can ask for the neighborhood. Okay. So now I can somehow get off of this.
Leah, what is the percentage that you're looking for? So this is a 10% turnover. What is a good percentage?
6% or higher is the turnover that you need to be looking for. So if you don't know how many people are in a neighborhood, you can find the neighborhood button here. You can draw a map around it, and there are other resources that you can use to individually count them. But this is how you can know where the neighborhoods are. A good farm is that you're going to want to start out with, if you're starting out on a farm, at least 250 homes should be in your farm. So my farm is 340 homes. I was very budget savvy. I mean, I was brand new starting out. I'm a single mom. I'm supporting 2 kids. I don't have a lot of time to be wasting on mail marketing. So I was trying to figure out, how do I do this the cheapest, the most effective that I could. And so I'll get to that in a second. So with the budget in mind, when you do a farm, just do one neighborhood to start out with, and you want to keep budget in mind. It is a long-term commitment. Expect your first closing to be at least 6 months down the road. So you're gonna need a budget like for your postcards, your mail, your everything to be 0 return for 6 months. And that's how I saved to do my first farm. When you do a farm, you want to be the local expert. So the content that you're going to be sending out, it needs to be, consistent. You're going to need to have show that you know what you're doing. So knowledge. You're going to want values. You're going to want to present inside scoops to them, like, hey, even sellers are concerned about interest rates, because like the neighborhood I live in is what you would call a starter neighborhood. These people, they sell, but they want to buy. And so sometimes they can be motivated to sell if the interest rates are very attractive. So things that you can mail out to them, you would need to compile a list, because when you do a farm like this, you need to plan and you need to write it on your calendar. This weekend, I'm going to send out this postcard with this content. And then just have it all on a schedule and stick to it. Some of the top resources I read said that to touch a farm effectively and to get the best rate of return on that investment, you need to touch that farm 3 times a month. And if you think about it, that is the KW 36 touch system for cold prospects. That was their best return. They said at least once a month. Twice a month yielded a higher return, but that 3 times a month was the best investment. Now that 3 times a month, it's just a touch. It can be a door knock too. You can go door knocking in your farm as one touch and eliminate that entire postal service for that week. So some of the other things that you can either door knock with, you can send out flyers, you can put door hangers on for ones that are that don't have like no solicitation on their doors. Sold cards of things that you've sold personally, or your company has, success pieces, market updates. Sellers love that. Trends and news from within the neighborhood. Think about it. You're the expert for the subdivision. So contact the HOA board, the president, and see like what's going on in the neighborhood that you could be aware of, that you could start helping with. The way HOA boards run is that I am actually the president of my HOA, and we have a budget for our farming. I mean, we have a budget for our HOA. And so we have to take all the HOA fees and cover all of our expenses. So sometimes it is harder to have extra money in the budget without increasing HOA dues for things like updating the neighborhood on helpful tips. So if you have a realtor involved and they are wanting to like pay to advertise that for you, it saves the HOA a lot, and then basically become friends with the HOA board, is what I'm trying to say. So again, your content for these farms is to always provide value. You know, one thing that you can do is you can sponsor a big community event. For example, my neighborhood right here, if you look right here, Tracy Ditch right here, there's a big park right there, okay? So in theory, you can touch this neighborhood and you can say, hey, I'm sponsoring a huge Easter egg hunt here in the park. I've hidden like 500 eggs. And then you can go through door knocking and you can touch your neighborhood that way. They're getting your name, they're getting a touch, they're getting to be involved in a big fun community event. You can follow up a week later and just say, thank you for coming. And you can like really use events like that to get in their faces without constantly being like real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate. You can be in their faces in other ways. Some ideas that I personally had for community events are going to be like garage sales. I've got a lender that I'm working with on a home buyer seminar for this neighborhood right now. And another thing that I don't think anybody's thought of is a spring cleaning events where you can like, you know, you can bring in a cleaner and, you know, you can either like, I don't know, I'm still working at it, but I think that would be fun. You can do pics with Santa. But the whole idea of a farm is to dominate it, be so involved in it that these people don't have any time to think about anybody else because you're there, occupying their time every week. So know your inventory. So put yourself up on an MLS search for the neighborhood you're going to farm, and anytime something sells, okay, that is a clue to put together a welcome basket and go knock on that new person's door. They may have just moved into the home, but they are going to eventually sell it. They're going to especially if you do a starter neighborhood, not like a $300,000, $400,000 neighborhood. So that's one thing. And then basically the idea is to provide service to the community, provide service to the neighborhood. But the biggest thing is to have a plan and implement it. Okay, so now with all that knowledge and the research that I did on doing my first farm, I was like, okay, how do I do this? So I found out that if I send a postcard in the mail, the postcard is way cheaper than if I send like an actual letter. So you can go into Microsoft Publisher, and this is a postcard that I created through Publisher. You can just go to at the top of your screen, you go to page design. And if you go to change template right here, you can go down to, where is it? It's a template I did, oh, right here. You go to postcards here. You can select the postcard, and then there's different templates they have preset. I just started with a blank one. I think I can push that button, yes. And then I just added my photo, you know, so, and then some stuff, and then I can change all this out every week. So like these were some homes that I recently sold, and when I sold these homes, my sale created a new top dollar or price per square footage for the neighborhood. So I obviously bragged about that for a while. And so I did this for sellers. I got a lot of calls from my seller, but I started doing the postcards every other week. That was my budget because I was going to door knock once a month. And on month 3 is when I started getting the calls from this neighborhood farm. And that was just the sell side. Now, the thing is, when you look at farming and you look at neighborhood, especially the price point that I was at, it just so happens that investors also target my neighborhood. So if you broke down the numbers from my own neighborhood, I found out that 45% of my neighborhood were renters. So I was like, so why am I going to waste money marketing to, you know, trying to get listings when 45% of the 340 homes that I have are going to be going to renters? So I created so I divided the list. I created a separate list for my buyers. So now I've got the farm going, but I've got one farm going to sellers and one going to the buyers, because I found out that all the people on my street that were renting, they moved out not to go rent another house. They moved out to to buy a home. And those were opportunities I missed because I didn't understand the market. I didn't understand the neighborhood I was living in. So this is kind of what I sent out to my renters, and I got a lender to pay for it because they're renting. And I've gotten 6 leads in the last, I want to say since September. I've gotten 6 leads for buyers that are looking to buy. A lot of them, they're renting because they have no credit, they don't have down payment. And so I partnered with a lender that could provide in-house closing cost assistance and down payment assistance with a 660 credit score. And so I found out that if I said, down payment assistance options, 0 closing cost options, because we have Keller Williams 0-point loan programs, we've got, the credit repair consultation. I should probably put free here because buyers love free. So anyway, so that's kind of what I did to the buyers. And I can share these templates with you guys if you want to do that, where you can just go into Publisher yourself and create it with the design. Now, how do I get the data? How do I break it down? Well, so this is another resource that I use. So if you go into MyBore, okay, down, you can scroll down, okay, and there's an option. I don't know if it's Remine or Remini, but that's what I use. And I paid the subscription. It was a $200 one time. It's a $200 a month subscription, but I canceled it, okay? So I canceled the subscription after I got to it because I just wanted the one list. And the reason I wanted to pay to get this list is because the kind of list that they give you is this one right here. So for my neighborhood, so let's say, so I actually have a farm going in Wildcat Run right now. And so I'll show you that data. But the Wildcat Run data gives you the property address, the city, the state, the year built. It gives you the owner's information. It gives you their email addresses. It gives you the secondary. Hold on. I don't know how to move this. Here we go. This might not be the right one. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's not the right one. Hold on. Wildcat Run full daters. Let me just try this one and see what. I broke down the list so many times. Yeah, I like this one. Okay, yeah. So this is about what it does. So it gives you a lot of numbers, anything from tax ID numbers, everything. But I wanted the list because it gives you the property address as well as the mailing address. And so I can go through here and I can be like, okay. And then obviously in Excel, you can sort it and you can sort the columns themselves and figure out on a nutshell who doesn't live at the mailing address. I don't know how I'm doing this. Hold on. So that's how I was able to separate my renters from my sellers. But then if I go through some more, the list breaks it down even further and it gives me the assessed value, the year that it was assessed. It gives me the subdivision. So like obviously this one's an Edgewood Trace, and so if I only wanted the right farm, because sometimes the list that you have to draw a map to get that list, and you can sometimes get things that are not in the right subdivision, so you can delete those from the list. And then also over here, and I found out it was highly accurate. They let me know through this list right here which ones are absentee. I'm like, okay, so these are owner occupant, corporate owned. So I was able to just filter it out really quickly because you can just go here and you can filter the list by, let me see, how do I do this? Format cells. I'll come back to that when I remember how to do it. I'm kind of having a mental brain block right now.
Let me help.
Okay, thanks.
Let me help. So all you have to do is go in the upper left-hand corner of the whole grid, like where over there where it says AS and 101 over there, the sign, and highlight the whole thing. So click the box up in the upper right-hand corner up there, right next to that. There's a box right next to it. Click on that. That'll highlight your whole worksheet. And then go up to the top into data. And then filter.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes. And just click OK, or just. And then,
But like right here, I thought there was a way that I could filter it out by, oh, it's sort. It's
or
not
you
filter,
could
it's
sort,
sort.
right. But I always put filters at the top, and that way I can get rid of everybody. But it may
That's
not
awesome.
let you do anything right now because I don't know. You're saying you got a little warning thing up at top. It may not let you do some things.
Well, so the sort warning is that, so if I can sort within the column, okay? Or I can expand the selection to, so for example, if I'm trying to sort them in an alphabetical order or numerical order, it can sort 5411 and always put 5403 on top of it within the column. But if it does that, then it changes the addresses over here. And so like they're basically saying, do I want to sort the whole row with this, or do I just want to sort this column? And you always want to expand the selection to sort the whole spreadsheet, so that so that instead of G2 and G3 being switched around, you're switching around everything, like the whole rows. That's how I did it, was the sort button. But then if you go over here, the other thing that I liked about this list is that it not only gave me the owner occupant, the absentee status, but it also told me how many mortgages were filed on the home. If I can find that. Right here. So here's the mortgage information. And so I was able to somehow, oh, and it gave me the recording date as well. So I was able to, like, for example, I can sort this recording date by expanding the selection. So now it's going to sort everything, or should. My subscription expired, so maybe that's why it's not letting me do anything.
Yeah, but we can go over the mechanics of it. And I love that you can just find, I never thought about segregating my farm into buyers and sellers. I love that.
And then here's the equity button. And so like you can actually figure out, like, so example, this first one has like 37% equity. And so for sellers that bought within the last 3 years, I did kind of go ahead and take them out of my farm because I kind of wanted more right now business. I had a tight budget. And so I was able to sort out by the equity, like this guy only has 5% equity. So I took him out. I focused on people that had 40% more equity, 40% or higher equity on their house, because I figured they were going to be the most likely to sell. And I especially focused on people with 100% or more equity. Then over here, I was able to go down to the mortgages. And if they had more than 3 mortgages on their property, I did take them out of my farm. And here's why. Obviously, you can get your regular mortgage on your property, but some people take out a home equity line of credit, a HELOC, and that's your secondary mortgage that they have recorded. But then if you have a third mortgage recorded, I just felt like that if there was more than 3 mortgages, they were probably so strapped financially that I just didn't, I mean, maybe that was not a good thing for me to take them out, but I took them out. So I was able to filter down my list of 340 homes to the closer to the, I think I've got 200 going out right now, but they're more hyper focused and targeted to people that I felt would be more willing to buy. But I got this list because I paid Remind the $200 fee, and I was able to go into Remind or Remini, whatever it's called, and I was able to search for the data that I wanted. So obviously my farm is down here. So are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I live in the middle of nowhere, honestly. I live on like a 15-acre farm and everyone around me is in a farm, like actual farm. So, but I've been wanting to do this and I was just wondering, like, there are, obviously some subdivisions not too far from me, but I'm always been afraid of, like, what if someone else is already farming that neighborhood? How do I know? Do you have any advice about that?
So go to, do you live in Indiana?
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
great. So go to the BLC, okay? And then obviously do your search. So somebody give me the name of a neighborhood, a subdivision.
Holly Hills.
Holly Hills?
Yeah.
Great.
That's
So
a
you can
big
go to Holly Hills and you can go to pending, sold, and then you go back at least 2 years or something. Great, 83 matches, okay? So what you do to figure out if somebody else has already dominated that farm is you can go through literally line by line and say, okay, look at who's listing these properties. So we've got Sui Sung, we've got Steve Minton, but also look at the buyer's agents because some people farm for buyers. And so if you've got that too, but primarily look at listing agents. So right now I'm not seeing any repeat agents. They're all different. So this is kind of telling me right now that there's no farm here. There were some people some neighborhoods I was going to farm, and then names kept popping up. I think Mark Deedle, David Brenton, some Paxson even, they farm some of these places. So right now, this is telling me that so far I've done, over 10% of the neighborhood, and I don't have any repeat agents. So the likelihood that this neighborhood is being farmed currently is probably not likely. Oh, Carla.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Because that's something I've really been, I never thought of that. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I know you talked about events. Can you just kind of lay out for them your 36 touch, what your plan looks like? That's what we were just talking about before you came on. We were talking about the 36 touch for 2021 for their database. So some of the things for your neighborhood and your database can be both, right?
Correct. Yes. So for me, I did I did a 12 touch system. So I took a third of the stuff out by utilizing door knocking, just trying to go through scheduling a day once a month or twice a month to dedicate to door knocking on my sellers. I don't really door knock my buyers. I probably should, but to me, I was like, I only have so much time. And so with the time that I'm given to door knock, it was simpler for me to focus on the listing versus the buyer right now. So I just took my list of sellers and so I do door knock with that. And I, mainly it's just trying because people will list with who they like, know, and trust. So obviously if they're getting my stuff in the mail, I show up to door knock once a month or once every other month if I don't make it, then now they're putting a name and a face with that. I find out that, so I'm a single mother, so I found out that if I took my baby with me during the fall to door knock too, I got a lot of doors open. So borrow a baby. So, you can just kind of, door knock and give out like flyers. I usually take, when I door knock, either door hangers that you can get from Vistaprint, put your marketing logo on there and any helpful information. I know homeowners especially love property values. There's a ton of homeowners in these neighborhoods that truly don't understand property values. And what's happening is hedge funds are coming in with cash offers and they're selling the sellers, the homeowners, on convenience. And these homeowners truly don't understand what their home is truly worth. And so these rental companies are coming in and they're getting these properties for next to nothing. Well, I wouldn't say next to nothing. I think they offered my neighbor $90,000 for his house, and they told him that that was the right price for his condition. But they didn't know that I'm the president of the HOA board, and I just posted property values the day before the mailings went out, and I posted that his floor plan would sell for about 140 to 145 on the, like just on the market. And so providing education, a lot of homeowners will be very grateful for. One of the things that I go around if I door knock is I talk about equity and what equity is. A lot of homeowners don't understand what equity is. They bought their home when they were like, 20, 21, they were just married. So, they're just kind of rolling with the punches. I'm shocked at how many people truly don't understand equity. So if you can go through and either give them helpful information on like just different things that they wouldn't even think about. As realtors, we just kind of live, breathe daily. I think that they're truly grateful. I'm starting to get a lot of calls in of people just asking me my opinion on things because my name's out there now. So equity, market values, property values, and I often break down the property values by floor plan too. So if you can dig into the neighborhood a little deeper and figure out what the floor plans are, the square footage ranges, you can give the market values and just break it down into like 3 price ranges for square footages. That way it's not like a blanket high and low, because you don't want that homeowner that has the 1,200 square foot house thinking he can get the same price as the 2,400 square foot home. And they will think that they can. I don't understand that, but they do. Let me see, what else was I doing? Oh, and so some of the other things that I'm saying about my farm is that, so like around Halloween time, I sent out a picture that I took by myself of like something fall, and I just put that in place of my picture on my card, with just like, hey, this is, I just make sure that I send everything out that has to do with like properties, real estate. I haven't sent out Christmas yet, but I was gonna do just like Merry Christmas from Leah Mencke, Keller Williams. Oh, call me today if you want, about what your home would be worth in the spring or whatever. So I'm still working on some of those, but sometimes I have writer's block and I don't fully know what else to put out there. And so sometimes if I don't know what new content to put out, I just put out something old that I already have made, because I figured something old that I've already had made is better than nothing. Because the idea is to dominate the farm, to always be putting something out there. And again, the rate of return is 6 months down the road. So I probably have I want to say 3 sellers that are currently working with me, and I started the farm in September, and this is December. And then I've got 6 buyers now. So I've gotten 9 people that have contacted me from this farm so far. And I'm only sending out about 200 postcards every 3 weeks. Once a week, twice a month, and then the door knocking. So, it's working.
Awesome. Anybody else got any questions for Leah?
I got a question for her. Leah, so if I was your customer and they asked you, they was like, okay, equity. Well, I've been living here for about 10 years. What do you mean equity? How would you describe it to them if I was their customer?
So how I describe equity is I say, hey, so equity, picture a balloon that's inflating. And every year that balloon gets a little bigger and a little bigger. And the air inside of that balloon is your equity, okay? Now, as long as and that equity inflates and deflates with the rise of the market, the rise and fall of the market. So right now, the equity in your balloon is a lot. The balloon's really big, okay? So you should sell when the balloon is bigger. And right now, home property values in the Indianapolis market are going up 12% every year. So right now, this is getting bigger and bigger. But I said, and equity right now is increasing because we also have really super low interest rates. So we have a lot of buyers that say, hey, this is the right time to buy because we can buy, a much bigger house for the same payment because the interest rate is so low. It's called buying power. So when you have buyers that are wanting to buy, we have more buyers than there's homes available that are being sold right now. And so that's why anytime that if your home is listed, it's like a feeding frenzy on the market. Because a lot of objections that I was having were that the sellers were like, well, if it's a feeding frenzy on the market, then why should I sell? Where am I going to go? Oh, sir, this is what you do. You cash out your equity. Like, you've been here 10 years. And I can do his numbers. And usually people that have been there for 10 years, at least in my neighborhood, they have at least 60 to 80 grand worth of equity just sitting there. And I said, so your equity is sitting there, but when this shifts back to a buyer's market, we don't know what's going to happen to that balloon. How much of that balloon is going to shrink, we don't know. But what we do know is that we have this number now. Okay, so we can sell your home, we can cash out that equity now, we can put that equity down on another home. So yes, so what if home prices are inflated? So let's go build you a house. We'll put your equity down on your new build, and now you have a brand new home that is also going to be appreciating because it's new. And it's a win for you, it's a win for the buyer, and it's a win for your new house. And so that is usually how I do overcome that objection. And then I always tell them, hey, look, if you use me to buy your new house, then I will sell your house for, and then I give them whatever discounted commission, not really discounted commission is, because I try to make as much as I can. So I say personally, I usually charge 7%, but if you want to use me to do both, then I'll sell your home for, 5.5%. Out of 3%, and I'm still making 2.5%, but I just basically got them to sign my buyer agency agreement for 3% on the new build or the new house we buy them. So then I make pretty much 2.5 plus 5.5% off that one seller, that one opportunity. So I think that's kind of where my thought is.
Okay, that was awesome.
I have a question. I don't know if I missed it. When you do your farming, did you say you use like the post office to get your postcards out, or how do you get your postcards out to a particular neighborhood?
So how I get my postcards out is honestly, I go here and I create this is for my buyers. I create my my postcard, but then when you print it, I just have a little printer. It's a laser printer. And when you print it, oh wait, hold on. It's generating. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, right? I print it on heavy cardstock, and I buy that from Amazon in bulk. When you buy in bulk, you get it for a lot cheaper. And then I buy ink, toner ink. I will never again go to a discount place to get ink. I will just go directly to the manufacturer because now my face is green on all my postcards. So I was like, crap.
There you go. Lesson learned. You get the little shortcut there from Leah, so you don't have a green face.
Yeah. So how you print it? My computer allows me to do multiple copies per sheet, and then I can do the layout options here. So I do the letter 8.5 by 11. You do landscape, and I want to print on both sides. And you want to flip on the short edge. The short edge is this. That means they're going to flip it on this edge, and it's going to come out on the, and then I've got a place to put a stamp here. Then that remedy list gives you the option of printing the stuff to, so like the labels. Although I did just find out that in the publisher campaign, you can actually do a mail merge. So if I go up here, I can do mailings, and I can do a mail merge, which means that it will take my Microsoft Excel spreadsheet list of names and addresses, and it will automatically import it into my spreadsheet. So then when I print it out, instead of printing here, the pages that, so if I print here, crap, what's going on? So right now it just says that I've got one page and it's going to print front and back. When you do a mail merge, let's say I've got 200 postcards and there's 4 postcards to a page. Now it's going to tell me that I've got one document of 50 to print, and it will print and the addresses will automatically be on my postcards. So now I just have to get them stamped. And I found out the hard way that if you take your postcards to the post office lady, give her all the postcards and say, please mail these and pay for the postage, she makes you stand there and stamp them all yourself. So don't do that. I thought about paying my kid, she's 9, to stamp some of my postcards for me, and I might get her a toy, save my time, but you do have to individually stamp these. If you don't know how to do the mail merge or it doesn't work for you, the way that I do it is you put all of your lists on an Excel spreadsheet and you go to Avery template. Avery templates, the template that I use is 5160. And I buy the addressed labels from Amazon. And you can come down here, and I think I've actually got an account somewhere. Is this my cart? My cart? Apparently this might actually be my account. Because I've got it here. So accounts, Avery. Oh, let's see if my stuff works. Because I like Avery, the Avery website, because they save your work. So I can go to my designs and templates within Avery, I think. And I can go to my designs right here. And so here is my Wildcat Run farm list. Oh, this is my renters for Wildcat Run. So I can open this, and then I can actually design the templates myself. So then I just, you can go over here and do an import a data mail merge. And that's where when you have your list on an Excel spreadsheet. So the big list from Remini that I pay for and that I cancel my subscription on, because I don't want an ongoing subscription. I just wanted the one-time list, or the list for what I wanted to do. I copy that spreadsheet multiple times. One of those spreadsheets, I will come up to here and I will only put on their mailing address, not their tax mailing address, but their actual physical mailing address. I will put current residence on there, and then I will mail merge it here. And then I just kind of like, I grew up in the country, so I just kind of was like, well, every person's dream is to be in the country. So I kind of did that design, and then you can print it. So now it says that I have 5 sheets. And then I can just literally, when I want to use this, I preview and print. And so the other way to do this is just to get those addresses from Amazon, and I always buy in bulk because I figured, this is my business. I'm going to be doing this for a long time. So I do the bulk one and get the sheets for like next to nothing. It's just my time to sit there, every week and just print them off and add them to my postcards. But the office at Keller Williams in Metro South has a giant paper cutter that I got education and training on how to use. And I just take my list in there and I'm done in like 5 minutes a week cutting everything. So yeah, so I think that's how you would do the mail stuff, like the addresses.
Depending on how big your neighborhood is, there's also services online that you can use. And don't forget, you have designs and command. So you can do your postcards in your command through designs, and just, there might be another business to business connection for you to make too. You could find a local printer and work out a deal where if you're going to do a regular postcard business with them, they might print and cut them for you. as far as leverage. I love the economical way to do it, but I just wanted to throw that out there. We have lots of dual career agents on here, Leah. They don't have lots of time.
Oh, got it.
I also wanted to mention from being from Louisville that for those of us here, we can find all this information as well in our Flex MLS. Just you have to go through the tax records. So you can pull the subdivision and then you can see the addresses and see if the owner's address matches up. So that was really great that that's how you do it. And I was just doing it on my end and it's through the tax records. And you can print labels as well for the addresses.
I'm sure, Chelsea, you guys also have access to Remind. It may not be on your home screen like it is with ours, but you can go to remind.com. The nice thing about Remind is, Chelsea, they've gone out and culled all of that out of the tax records already. So you don't have to like do all of the mining. That's why it's called Remind. You don't have to do all the mining. I never thought about that before, if that's why their name is that, because it's mining. That's funny.
Oh, that is cool.
You know, you say these things out loud and all of a sudden it makes like a connection in your brain. I don't know. But yeah, so to take a look at that, because that is I love Remind. And there's a free version of Remind. Like you don't have to pay. I mean, you don't get as much information. Like Leah said, she does it, then cancels it, gets what she wants out of it and cancels it. But you can also go, I've used Remind for this situation. It's kind of like farming, but not really. I had a couple and they really wanted a condo in Cobblestone. They wanted a condo in Cobblestone. And we kept missing out. This was May, June, July, and we just kept missing out. Like we would get, it would come up and by the time they could see it, it was already pending. And so I pulled down a list of all of the properties out of Remind, and I wrote a letter to everyone in Cobblestone and said, I have a buyer that really wants to buy. So if you would like to, and I was willing to do it for them only just for the buyer's commission. So if you would like to save, on your listing commission, I would. Of course, my buyer's commission was 4.5, but I would love to help you out with that. And so that's how we got them a condo. Is I wrote letters to all the people in the place. So sometimes you have to farm a neighborhood, not for your own self. And it was quick. I mean, Leah, what takes 5 minutes or less to get all the information for a neighborhood.
So how did you do the 4.5% buy commission? Like what conversation do you have with the seller and the buyer on that?
Oh, I did a buyer's agreement with my buyers at 4.5%. And then I told the sellers that they wouldn't have a listing fee, but they would need to pay the buyer's fee. And I did a FSBO form.
That's awesome. That I had never thought about marketing that way. I've got a lot of buyers that are only wanting to buy in certain neighborhoods and I can't get them in.
I couldn't hear what you. Yeah, no, I was desperate. And then the offside of that was that she's still in my thing. I have 2 or 3. I ended up making 2 or 3 contacts, people that weren't really ready, but they called to see if they could help because they were really sweet and nice. And so now they're in my database. So I got, they aren't ready to sell right now, but they're in my database now. So I made some relationships out of it too, because the seller, the people that are there, they see that I was going above and beyond for my buyer, right? Like who writes a letter to the entire neighborhood trying to find their buyer a house? So it worked out for me. So yeah, are you on the free version right now, Leah? Are you on the paid version?
I'm on the free version. The free version wasn't giving me the mortgage information.
Uh-huh. So
I mean, maybe I don't need to buy the whole list. I just was desperate for as much information as I could. So the only reason I got the paid version in the first place is because Remind told me that I would get the seller contact information. So like if you go here, Remind says, oh, like so on this house right here, it's off market, or I'm not sure why it's not pulling up unless it wants me to do this one. But it was like, oh yeah, like here, we're gonna go ahead and do throw in the owner contact information. And then I got this whole list from my neighborhood. I only got 6 cell phone numbers and 4 of them were specified on the do not call list. So I got all the data that I wanted, then I emailed Remind and said, look, false advertising, I paid for this because of seller contact information that you never really gave me. And therefore I want my money back. So they actually refunded me my money for that list.
All right. There's the insider tip. There's your R&D tip for the day.
It was totally innocent though. Like I didn't do it with the intent to get a refund. It just was like,
well, yeah, they
saw value in getting seller
you
information and email addresses, and then I didn't hardly get anything. So I was like, well, this isn't what I signed up for. But are you saying that like I would be able to get enough information not paying the fee?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do. I mean, I don't get the equity value. I don't get that. I don't get the seller score or the home equity piece. But I can get the names and addresses of everybody in the neighborhood. And I can tell whether they're absentee or not, because I can tell whether their mailing address and their property address are the same.
But it looks like, and so, so the mortgage rate, so for your buyers, so if I wanted like do 6% mortgage rate, I wonder what that would look like.
Yeah, that would be for a lender, for anybody that wanted to find somebody to refinance.
Huh.
Well,
yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I guess I always assumed I had to like pay for the list up front. Oh, they have an Airbnb option? That's nuts. But yeah, I love this this resource.
Yeah, Remind is fun. I mean, go play with it because you get a lot for free in it, guys. So that's your other tip today. If you get bored this weekend, you're sitting in front of the computer or the front of the TV with your laptop in your lap, play on Remind for a bit because it's a lot of fun. And it's going to be your first step to farming, right? Because you have to figure out what's in, well, your first step to farming is finding a neighborhood. And you're going to do that in your multiple listing service. And then your second step is get familiar with Remind because it's going to be your best friend. What other questions you got for Leah? And then we'll let her go and thank her big time for spending her Saturday morning with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Leah.
You're welcome, guys. It was fun. Thanks for having me, Carla.
Wait, can you do me a quick favor? Down in chat, right next to where it says screen share, can you click on chat and put your contact information?
Would you be willing?
So that if anybody wants to reach out to you, they can.
Yeah, let me figure out how to do this. Oh, right here.
See where it says chat?
And then
I found it.
down at the bottom, type message here.
There you go. We got hi. Now you put your information in there. There you go.
Oh, but it's not letting me. I have to do it all in one.
Oh, yeah. Every time you hit enter, it sends it. Yeah.
I do let all my calls go to voicemail. So I do texting and email.
They're used to that. Their coach says the same thing.
There we go.
I actually realized today that I never even checked my email yesterday or my voicemail yesterday. I'm really bad about voicemail.
I am. It's so much time for people, for me to just talk to people. And I'm just like, just send me a text. I'll get back with you. I mean,
well, you know what? We talk about this all the time, Leah. I've told all these guys they have to, and I love the fact that you just jumped out there because we have to teach people how to work with us, and that's what we do. So thank you so much for your time today. I very much appreciate you spending it with us.
You're welcome.
Great information. All right, guys. So we got 5 minutes left. Tell me some ahas or action items. What are you going to do with the information that you have today, either from before Leah or from farming? What's your takeaway?
I have a lot of work to do. That's my takeaway.
Actually, it was helpful in her helping to kind of narrow down an area and determine, kind of be able to break down a farming neighborhood. And wow, it's a lot of work, but I'm actually ready to do something like this. This would be awesome.
Now, just remember that, you know, farming a neighborhood is one of your lead generation sources, and we're looking for two, right? One is our database, and then we're going to pick two others. So the thing I hope you got from Leah is this isn't a one and done kind of thing. This is a long-term investment. If you're going to farm a neighborhood, you're going to start now. And she said, you're going to see your results start in 6 months from now, right? But you have to be consistent. Before Leah got on today, we were talking about communicating with your database and being consistent. It's even more important in a farming neighborhood that you are consistent and regular and frequent, because she pulled up Holly Hills, right? Holly Hills actually is a neighborhood that I farmed, and I only have, if she went through how many of those, and I was only on like 2, right? Of course, I've not been doing anything since May, but that's neither here nor there. There was always other agents in the neighborhood. So if you want to grab a chunk of it to be your own, you want to be the realtor for that area, then you know, you need to be serious about it. And I never actually did it the way Leah does it. I never did it full time. I never even thought about separating them into buyers and sellers. That was awesome. One thing I always wanted to do when I was farming a neighborhood, it was on my marketing plan, and then I decided to stop to coach and not do it. But I always wanted to have the neighborhood garage sale, right? So I wanted to pick a date and work with the HOA and sponsor a neighborhood garage sale day. Because then I thought that would make door knocking really easy, wouldn't I? I wouldn't have to knock on the door. I could just walk around and talk to everyone that's having a garage sale. So that was my big idea. Anybody else?
I was also thinking about different events to do, and I was thinking now that it's a wintertime, maybe you can do like a closed clothing drive in the neighborhood and collect coats or, you know, gloves, hats, socks, whatever. And then, I mean, it helps if you live there, then they can drop it off at your house, but, you know, maybe we can set something up.
That's a great idea. For Red Day last year, we did a canned food drive, and I bought cheap red bags, and we hung them on the little, either on their door or on the little flag on their mailbox with a flyer in it that said that we were going to come back around and pick up at a certain on Red Day. And it was fun to see all the red bags lined up down the street where people gave canned food out. That was our Red Day last year, just we replenished the food pantries. Awesome. All right. Well, everybody work on your January today, right? So take a piece of paper out, write your January on it, and put your marketing ideas for January. I'm going to email you guys what I put out today for January. And then tomorrow you're going to get February gift from me for the second day of the 12 days of Christmas. So hopefully by the 24th, I will have given you plenty of ideas so you guys can build out your entire marketing plan for next year. And now you know if you're gonna choose farming as one of your lead generation sources, then now you know you need to have your database plan and your farming plan. Awesome. All right. Well, you guys enjoy your weekend. Text me if you need anything. I'll be back tomorrow working at my son's house that he bought with all those gifts from his seller. I don't know if I shared that video with all of you guys, but hopefully we're about done with the trash removal.
Wow.
Can I send you guys the video? I'll send you the video. You got to see it.
Was it that bad?
We're on our second dumpster.
Oh my.
That's pretty bad.
Fortunately, his realtor realized this was going to be a problem, and we got a check at closing for $1,500 made payable to Waste Management.
That's good.
I should have got a check made payable to Mom for all the trash moving.
Yes.
There you really should have.
All right, guys. So anyways, tomorrow for about 3 or 4 hours, I may be a little delayed getting back to you, but I will get back to you if it's an emergency. Remember the broker hotline, or in Louisville, call Rhonda.
Carla, I just have a quick question about what we
Carla.
went over earlier.
About what?
Just what we were going over earlier at 9 o'clock. I was just wondering, does the neighborhood nurture work for people in my sphere that are out of the state?
Yes.
Okay.
Even if they're out of the country, as long as they're in 50 of the 50, well, probably anywhere. It probably works out anywhere, but I know it works in 50 countries.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Because, oh, I'll tell you what, Chelsea, I said people, here's just the thing. If I talk to somebody and, you know, I'm big on asking them because I like my D in dreams for Ford. I ask them if you won, I always ask this, if you won the lottery and let's just say $500,000, because we don't want to be greedy. If you won $500,000, where might you live? And if they tell me Captiva, Florida, then one of their neighborhoods is going to be Captiva, Florida. Right? Because I'm going to let them dream with me once a month when they get their neighborhood nurture. If they tell me Scottsdale, Arizona, you know, if they say, well, someday I'd like to retire in Scottsdale, Arizona, then I'm going to set Scottsdale or a few neighborhoods in Scottsdale, Arizona up for them so that they can dream with me. So yeah.
Thanks.
Go ahead. How do you do that, Carla?
I do when I'm on their command hang on, let me get there. I got one up, so I'll just show you real quick. So when I'm in a neighborhood or when I'm in a neighborhood, Leah's got me thinking about neighborhoods. Are you seeing my screen now?
No, we're still seeing Leah's.
Oh, Leah, will you stop sharing, dear?
How do I do that?
You should probably have a red box somewhere that says stop share.
Oh, stop share. There. How's that?
Hey, thank you. I don't know how all this works. You know, we just make it up as we go. Now, are you seeing my contact?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you just go to edit the contact, and then you go down here where they're nope, you don't have to edit their contact. Then I'm going to. You go on their contact screen. Sorry, you go on their contact screen where it says add neighborhood, and you click on add neighborhood, and you search for a neighborhood, or you find it on the map. And so if I wanted it in,
you go to Arizona.
So if I wanted it in Captiva, Florida, I would go to Captiva, Florida, and then I would zoom in, right? And I would find the neighborhood that I wanted and I would pick it. And then I would save it. And then when she got her neighborhood, she would get her neighborhood plus she would get Captiva, Florida.
Can you do that for out of country also?
That's my understanding. I've never tried it, but I'll just encourage you to go out and try it. That's my understanding, is that it works because we have countries that we have offices out of country. So I would imagine.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys. You guys have a fabulous day. Thanks for spending the morning with me. Thank you again, Leah. And I will see you guys next week. Monday morning script practice, 8:30.
Thank you, Carla.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carla. Bye.